Please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Those are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on the screen. Those are attending in online. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. All right. Good morning, guys. And check it what we completed in the last session. Yesterday, given some discussion over Java history, Java background story, what exactly the roots why Java programming language was provided by Sun Microsystems. All the points we understood in the last class. Okay, fine. So if you observe the last class content, few points are given there. Few points are important points actually there. What are the few points we got now? Now tell me, Sun Microsystems have started to prepare Java programming language in the year 1991. The first version of the Java was provided in 1996. Right? Then, for the sake of this first Java program, for the sake of this Java programming language, Sun Microsystems gathered nearly 30 members team led by James Gosling and Patrick Norton. They started a project. The name is what? Green project. So in their new programming language, they want to see three features mainly. What are the three features they want to see in the new programming language? Programming language should be simple. Programming language should be tight coded. Next one is what there? Architecture neutral. Simple means that less execution time, less memory, less power consumption. Tight coded means that less code, more implementation, more achievement. Architecture neutral, able to support in all the hardware components. So they are the 3 points what we are getting clearly. Next one is after completion of this tight coded, in the sense less number of instructions, more implementation. Architecture neutral is what they're able to support in multiple hardware systems. Okay, fine. Then after this, finally they completed their implementation on new programming language at the end of the 1992. Then they want to give a name for this new programming language. James Gosling has given a suggestion like what? Oak is a name, but some people have not accepted it. They have rejected it. Why? Because Oak is already one of the existed programming language previously before this Java. Already it's existed one programming language with the name. So again, we should not give the same name. If we give the same name to our programming language, automatically our programming language may lose its identity. Everybody will think about it. This programming language is inherited from or extended from older programming language, right? So they want to give a new name. Then actually the why the name Java is coming to outside there. While preparing this new programming language, all Sun engineers, they used to take a brand labeled coffee at their cafeteria. The name of that coffee is what there? Java. So all the green project people are having this thought and they're giving this proposal to Sun Microsystems, where Sun Microsystems has accepted that. Then because of that reason, now we have the name for our programming language is what there? Java. Fine, it was completed. Name was given. Next one is the very first product was designed on the basis of the Java programming language. There is a star 7 as a remote controller software, but it's a failure product. Nobody has identified to take that particular product. They waited nearly 1.5 years of time. Up to mid of 1994, they waited to find a customer for this particular star 7. Nobody is identified. When nobody is identified there, then they're thinking about it, what they have to do to give demand for this Java programming language. By the time www is getting very good demand in outside, where inside this www, the key component is browser. Browsers are having very good demand in outside. Then by the time only one browser is available in outside, that is a Mosaic browser that was prepared by Mark Anderson. He is the final year undergraduate student in Illinois University. As part of his project internship, he went to the Netscape Communication. There he prepared that browser. To prepare that browser, it took nearly $6.25 per hour. Only that browser is getting very good demand in outside by the time. So exactly on that moment, Sun Microsystems decided they want to prepare a new browser by using Java. Finally, they started. The browser preparation was started in the mid of 1994. That responsibility was taken by Jonathan Payne and Patrick Nathan. These two members have taken responsibility of preparing new browser. Finally, browser was created at the end of the 1995. The given name for this browser is what their hard Java browser, right? Then in 1995 December month, they have given that hard Java browser. Hard Java browser is a successful browser. Everybody is thinking about that browser. Later on, everybody is thinking about it. How this browser was prepared by Sun Microsystems. What the technology they have used to prepare this browser. They're trying to analyze it. Finally, they find that Sun Microsystems has a technology or a programming language. Its name is Java. On the base of Java only, that hard Java browser was prepared there. Then by the time people are talking about Java. Because of that reason, Java is getting very good demand in outside. Then finally, as per the developers' requirement, Sun Microsystems wants to release Java programming language officially in outside. Further, they have taken a data is like what there 1996 January 23rd. Exactly January 23rd, 1996. They are taking the date to release the first version of the Java. They released the first version of the Java on that particular date with the name is like what JDK 1.0 version. From that point onwards, every 1 year or 2 years of time, newer versions are coming in. Where the milestone versions are what? Important versions are what? 1.0 language was provided. 1.2 is a major change. The major impact is on what there? 1.2. Next one is a 1.5. Next one is a 1.8. Next one is a 1.11. After that, 1.17. Maybe next, still we are not getting any clarity on this. What is the next long-term version of Java? So this is entire scenario what we completed there in the last class. Is that clear? All of you are getting clarity, no? Right, sir. Don't worry. If any of you are new today, at the end of the class, I will share some link to you for the regular classroom notes. Then just give rewind to me. At the end of the class, I will give that link to you to take that regular classroom notes. Fine. Now let's move on to the content here. All of you understand it, no? The next topic is what there differences between Java and others. Here I'm going to take others is what C and C++. C and C++. Okay, fine. Leave this one. Why I'm taking this particular topic, no? In the introduction part, why I'm taking this particular topic? What is the reason for it? If you come for this point, answers are very clear. Try to understand it now. Point number one. In outside, most of the people are giving some kind of statement to you regarding the Java. If you want to learn Java, first we have to learn C++. If you want to learn C++, first we have to learn C. Now, people are framing this kind of chain of technologies. First C, next C++, next Java. But reality is different. That is their assumption only, but reality is different. What is the point I'm telling to you here itself? To learn Java, no programming language is prerequisite. No need to learn any other programming language. Core Java is a fundamental course. For this fundamental course, again learning another fundamental course is a time-waste process. Point number one. But C programming language is required for freshers in the point of interviews. Because of that reason, if you want to learn C, we can learn it. Because of only Java, I want to learn C programming language in the sense that depends on your option. But myself, I'm telling there, no need to learn. But still, we are conducting at 8 o'clock free C programming language courses. No, if you're interested, you can join with the classes. But only for the sake of Java, not mandatory. But if you're interested, you can join and attend for the classes there. It's a free of cost. Might be it's a free batch only. We can attend for it. C and data structures. Okay, fine. For the sake of Java, I will take care about everything. No need to think about it. Fine. To avoid or maybe to come out from this particular opinion, I need to show definitely Java is a different from C and C++. To show Java is a different from C and C++, I have taken this topic today. Point number one. And point number two, all of a sudden, if you are getting any interview call from any company, but you are not aware about anything about Java, okay? Moreover, in our resume, what we used to specify skill set is might be one of the option. Where in the skill set, we used to specify like what there, whatever the technology names we know, all the technology names we are going to specify. Whether really we knows about the technology or not is a different story. But names only we are going to specify. Even myself also in my BTech, I have done the same thing. C, C++, Java, Python, .NET, all software courses. Even in our college also that courses are not available. But still we used to specify that list of courses. Am I right or not? There, if we show that resume to that interviewer, interviewer will check their skill set. First three technologies, everybody commonly they used to say C, C++, Java. Then their interviewer will catch you. Their interviewer will ask you, tell me what are the differences between C, C++, Java. Some other interviewers are asking to you, already we have C and C++, then why we are coming to the Java? What is the requirement of Java? I'll explain, don't worry for it. So this is a question here we are able to get. Whenever we are getting this question from interviewer, there you should not be blank. There we have to open your mouth. There we have to give minimum half an hour discussion with him. If you understand all my points now, not like half an hour, nearly 10 hours we can give the information. Okay, we are going to understand the content here. At least we have to give some answers for it. By that interviewer will get more impression about your answers. All right, what exactly the differences between Java and others? What are the various points here we are going to include? Nearly 9 number of points I included inside this particular topic. 9 number of points. Differences between Java and others. Others in the sense, my main comparison is with what there, C and C++. 9 number of points. Okay, now let's understand this 9 number of points here, what I'm telling to you. Point number 1, listen carefully. C and C++ are static programming languages, but Java is a dynamic programming language. But Java is what there, a dynamic programming language. This is our very first difference here we have to understand. C and C++ are static programming languages, but Java is what there, a dynamic programming language. So before going to understand C, C++, Java, static or dynamic programming languages, before that, first we have to understand what is static programming language and what is dynamic programming language. First we have to understand that. After that, we will think about them static or dynamic. First of all, we will understand what is a static programming language. All right, so now I want to give one definition. Try to understand this definition. Straightforward information. If any programming language, it may be C, C++, Java, or whatever it may be, if any programming language allows memory allocation for the primitive data at a compilation time, then that programming language is called, static programming language. Right, sir? Try to analyze this. What is the definition I have given there? Now try to understand it now. If any programming language allows memory allocation for the primitive data at a compilation time, then that programming language is called static programming language. Sir, today is my first class. We directly are given some type of definition. In the definition, we have used some French words. I don't know what are these. Almost all. I'm watching a different movie. Can you elaborate this one? Okay, don't worry. I will explain each and every bit of this definition, but put more concentration here now. At least one time read the statement what I given then. Simple statement only, not difficult one. If any programming language allows memory allocation for the primitive data at compilation time, then the programming language is called static programming language. Is that good or not? Okay, now here, what are the unknown points now? Primitive data, I don't know. Compilation, I don't know. What's the meaning of compilation? I'm totally new for software. I don't know compilation. Okay, the remaining is okay, fine. Two keywords. What are the two words now? Primitive data and a compilation. First of all, let me talk about these 2 points. After that, I'll come back to the same definition. All right, sir. Now understand this clearly. For example, I want to take a that's it. I want to take a C program. Not only C program, some program here I've taken. This is my program. The program is provided with a .c file. Anyway, the name of this one is what there? Program.c. As a C program only I've taken. Inside this C program, I have written some code. Inside the C program, I have written some code. All of you observe carefully. Developer has written code in the sense, in a developer understandable form, this code is coming or not? Developer has written that program in his understandable form or not? Developer has written this program in his understandable form or not? So, developer understandable representation is what their high level language. The developer understandable representation is what their high level language. Any example for this high level language? No. Say for example, int a is equal to 10, high level representation. Int integer I is a variable, equal is an operator, 10 is a value. This is like what their high level representation. Okay, fine. I have written this program there. After writing the program, we have to execute the program or not? We have to run this application or not? So execution, here we have to do. What we have to do there? Execution. Understand everybody? To execute C program, here we are going to use a mission, a separate mission we are going to use. That mission name is what there? C engine. Mission, here we have to use that mission is what there? C engine. To execute C program, C engine. To execute C++ program, C++ engine. To execute Java program, Java engine. That is called as JVM in Java. Java engine is called as what there? JVM, Java Virtual Machine. To execute Python program, a separate engine, Python engine, that is called as a PVM. For Python, PVM. What is that PVM? No, Python Virtual Machine. That's it. Are you getting it or not? Okay, fine. Now understand it clearly. C engine. When we prepare the C program, when we send the C program to the C engine, then C engine has to execute this program and the C engine has to generate some outputs. C engine has to generate some output. This is the actual requirement we are expecting. Now here we have to get what their output. All of you understand clearly? Who is executing our C programs now? C engine is executing our C programs. C engine is able to understand and is able to execute the code which is in low level representation, which is in low level language. What is that low level language? No, int a is equal to 10 semicolon is a high level language, but low level language is what there? It should be available in the form of zeros and ones only. Mission language. That's ever in the form of what there? Mission language. It's ever in the form of like what there? Low level code. If you have high level code here, but when it comes to the C engine, that code must be available in what code there? No, low level code. There's a functionality of like what there? C program, that means C engine. C engine is able to execute only low level code. Now all of you observe carefully what's going to be happening now. First of all, we prepared C program in a high level language. This is a high level program. If you give to the C engine, it has to execute it and it has to generate output. But think of it, how it is possible for C engine to execute this program? Why? Because whatever the program here we provided, that program was provided to the C engine in the form of high level. But C engine required the same program in which level? Come on, C engine required the same program in which level? Low level. But we provided a program in which level? High level. There is some mismatch is coming or not? C engine required the program in low level, but it is getting the program in high level. Now, is it possible for C engine to execute that program? Is it possible for C engine to execute that program? No, not possible to execute that program by C engine. C engine is unable to execute that program. Why? Because C engine is unable to understand high level language directly. C engine is able to understand only what their low level language. Right or not? So now here what we have to do now? Still I want to execute my program. What I have to do now? Two cases are available. Case number one. Make the C engine to understand high level. Redesign the C engine to understand what their high level. But being the Java developer, how it is possible for me to prepare C engine entire C engine? Is it possible for me to redesign that C engine? As a part of the C software, the C vendor has given that C engine. Not possible for me. It's the toughest part for me. Leave this option. Second option. Okay, when a C engine is not understanding high level, when it is understanding low level, then we have to search in outside any converter is available or not to translate the program from high level to low level. If it is not directly executable, then we have to convert the program from high level representation to low level representation. If any conversion is available, then I'm able to use the converters in this particular situation. So for that particular reason here, what I'm telling there, some converters are available in outside. Some converters are available in outside. So now here, this is nothing but what there, a conversion mechanism or a translation process. This mechanism is nothing but what there, a conversion mechanism or a translation process here we are able to do. So once these converters are available, what we have to do? First, we will provide this C program to this translation now. The translator is able to translate the code from high level representation to low level representation. That low level code, that low level represented code must generate. See, the translation mechanism will convert from high level to low level. That low level code must be provided in the form of .exe file. Inside this .exe file, here we are able to see like what there, the data here we are able to get in this way. In the form of zeros and ones only. That entire program is available in the form of zeros and ones only. .exe file is generated. Now what is this .exe file actually? This .exe file is like what the low level representation. Low level language code only. Alright, sir. Whenever this low level language code is generated, if we give this code to the C engine, now C engine can execute this low level, C engine is able to generate some output. Now C engine is able to generate what there? Some output. Sir, all of you are following my points now? Right? Clear. So what is the process I've done there? First I've written C program. The C program is written in which language? No, high level. That high level program was given to the translation. The translation is converting the program from high level to low level. That low level program is given to the C engine. Now C engine is able to execute our program directly. There we are able to get what their output. Got or not? Right, sir. In this case, in this overall case, what exactly the translation mechanism here we have taken to convert the program from high level to low level? What exactly the translation mechanism we have taken to convert the program from high level to low level? That translation is called as compilation. The translation is called as what there? Compilation. Everybody put more concentration. It is called as what there? Compilation. Clear. After that, this is compilation, this is execution. Okay, fine. Listen carefully. The time when we compile the program, the time when we compile the program is also be called as compilation time, is also be called as static time. The time when we compile the program is called as what their compilation time, is also be called as what their static time. The time when we execute the program, that is called as execution time, is also be called as runtime, is also be called as what their runtime, is also be called as what their dynamic time. Different names are available here, we can understand clearly. Yes sir, all of you are getting it or not? Static time, compile time, runtime, like different terminologies are available that we have to understand clearly. Okay, right sir. Now understand one more point. No, now I'm asking one question to you. Now tell me, what is the purpose of the compilation? What is the purpose of the compilation? Translate program from high level representation to low level language. Observe carefully. Before executing the program, first of all tell me, who is writing these programs actually? The developer or not? The developer is writing the program, right? Once developer is writing the program, definitely some mistakes are going to be happen. The human being is writing the program, definitely some mistakes are going to be happen in our program. Some errors might be identified. But before executing our program, it's a minimum responsibility for us to check whether that program contains errors or not. Before executing our program, it's a minimum thing to check whether mistakes are available or not in our program. So who is going to check that mistakes in our program there? Again, compilation process is able to check errors in our program. It means that for the sake of error checking also, for the sake of error checking, there we have to use what their compilation. Right, sir? Now here we have to understand to check the developers mistakes. To check the developers mistakes in a Java program, we have to use what their compilation. Two responsibilities of the compilation. One is translate the program from high level to low level. Second one is what their error checking. They're the two responsibilities of the compilation. Clear? Right, sir. One more point. One more point here. What I am telling to you, observe carefully. After completion of this, primitive data. First of all, tell me, in a programming, in a programming, we have to represent data or not? Say for example, I want to write a program about the bank. About a bank, I want to write a program. Inside the bank, number of account holders are available. All the account holders I have to represent in our program or not? All the data of the accounts must be represented in our program or not? Right, definitely in every application, data must be represented. If you want to represent the data, there we have to use variables. In the form of variables only, we are going to represent what their data in every program. Okay, fine. Now say for example, what is the point I am telling to you? If you understand this point now, int employee number is equal to 111. Int employee number is equal to 111. So here 111 is a data, env is a variable, data type is what there, integer. So what is going to be happen here in this case? No, first in the case of C programming language, 2 bytes of memory will be allocated. In the 2 bytes of memory, the value 111 will be stored, and its name is like what there, env. And its name is like what there, env. Env is a variable now which has a memory location. Inside this memory location, 111 is a value here we are getting. Are you getting it or not? So here this 111 is called as a data type. Moreover, more clearly, the data type is a primitive data type. For the primitive data type, memory allocation is required or not? For the primitive data, memory allocation is mandatory or not? All right, observe carefully, all of you know. In any programming language, conclusion I'm telling there, observe carefully. In any programming language, if the memory is allocated for the primitive data types at a compilation time, then that programming language is a static programming language. Then that programming language is what there? Static programming language. Okay. All right, sir. Now, if the memory allocation is going on at runtime, not at compilation time, memory is allocated for the primitive data types at runtime, not at compilation time, then that programming language is called as dynamic programming language. Understand it clearly. Static programming language, dynamic programming language. For the sake of your reference, I'm taking this diagram. No, try to observe this diagram here. First of all, here, what is the point I'm telling to you? If any programming language allows memory allocation for the primitive data at a compilation time, then that programming language is called static programming language. Examples for static programming languages are C and C++. Examples for static programming language is what there? C and C++. Then what is the point here I'm telling to you? In the C and C++ applications, memory will be allocated for the primitive data. In C and C++ applications, memory will be allocated for the primitive data at the time of compilation only. At the time of compilation only. Because of that reason, C and C++ are what there? Static programming languages. Next one is, what is this dynamic programming language? What is the meaning of this dynamic programming language? All right, the same definition. Now tell me, if any programming language allows memory allocation for the primitive data, if any programming language allows memory allocation for the primitive data, at what time you know? At a runtime, at execution time, at a dynamic time, then the programming language is called dynamic programming language. The programming language is called as what there? Dynamic programming language. Examples for a dynamic programming language is what there? Java. Java is an example for it. Now inside the Java, when memory will be allocated, not only Java, we can understand Java, Python, .NET, maybe all those things are what there? Dynamic programming languages. Then how can you say Java is a dynamic programming language? Observe carefully. In Java applications, memory will be allocated for the primitive data types. All of you observe carefully. Memory will be allocated for the primitive data types at a runtime only, not at a compilation time. At a runtime only, not at a compilation time. So because of that reason, we can conclude that Java is what there? A dynamic programming language. That's it. Now this point is completed. Now this is a simple explanation about static programming language and dynamic programming language. So all of you are following or not? So it is somewhat good news today. Almost nobody is sleeping inside the class today when compared with yesterday. I don't know what is the reason. Yesterday, half of the members are in sleeping mode because of Java history, right? Yeah, because of the Java history only. But in very first class, if we sleep now, what about the remaining course? Right, sir. Good. Not exactly that reason here. I think so. Then outside environment is one reason, and the second reason I know that yesterday is Monday, right? Monday or Tuesday? Tuesday. I think so. In Tuesday, in most of the Hyderabad hostels, the breakfast is pulihara. I think so. Lemon rice. Yes. This may be the reason. I think so. Right. Sir. Anyway, whatever it may be, forget about your hostels and their food environment and all these things. The point is, once you are coming to the class, once you are inside the class, you must aware about, you must concentrate on our content. Each and every point is important in the introduction part. I said to you the differences between Java and others. Directly, interviewers will ask questions if you are the fresher. Interviewer may ask a question to you. C, C++, Java. Which one is static programming language and which one is a dynamic programming language? Then what about your answer? C and C++ are static programming languages and Java is what? Dynamic programming language. That's very clear. How can you say C and C++ are static programming languages? Come on. In C and C++, memory will be allocated for the primitive data. At what time? Compilation time. So C and C++ are what? Static programming languages. How can you say Java is a dynamic programming language? Right, sir. In Java applications, memory will be allocated for the primitive data at what time? At runtime. So Java is what there? Dynamic programming language. Respective diagram also are given. What is the meaning of compilation? What is the meaning of execution? The required information are given clearly. All right, sir. Then it's okay fine. Now this is the very first difference that we understood clearly. Now let's move on to the second difference. This is important, somewhat important. Now try to understand it now. Preprocessor is required in C and C++, but a preprocessor is not required in Java. Does not required in Java. Preprocessor is not required in Java, but preprocessor is required in the case of C and C++. This is our actual point here. So before going to understand preprocessor is required or not required in C, C++ and Java, first of all, what is preprocessor? What is its purpose? What is the requirement of using preprocessor in our programming languages? All the points here we have to understand. After that, we are going to think about it, whether it is required or not required in C, C++, Java, that we are going to understand later. But first of all, we have to understand what is preprocessor, what is the need of preprocessor in programming languages. Right, sir. All of you observe carefully. First of all, I want to show what is the meaning of preprocessor. Say, for example, I want to take a C program here. Again, sir, every time I'm going to take C programs only, now try to understand for the sake of explanation point of view. Okay. Whenever we have written C program, that we have to compile or not? Is it possible to run any C program without compilation? No, definitely we must compile the program. After that only we have to execute the program. So I must go for compilation process. Compilation process here we have to use. When we are in a compilation now, definitely here we have to execute the program. So when we compile the C program, what files here we are getting, sir? Now tell me. Dot exe file, of course, dot obj files, dot aa files, and finally we are getting what there? Dot exe files. Whenever we are getting dot exe files now, that we have to execute the program. So further purpose here we are using what there? Execution process. Execution here we are using. When we execute our program, there we are able to get some output. Here we are able to get what there? Some outputs here we are getting. Output here we are getting. This is the structure. Here we have to understand. First of all, we have taken C program. Compilation here we performed here. .exe file we are getting. Next one is what there? Execution. Then finally we are getting what there? Output here we are getting. Clear or not? All of you know. Okay, good. Listen, all of you listen carefully. I want to elaborate this compilation process. In general, we are thinking about it. Compilation is a process that would be done by a single mission compiler. Compilation is a process that could be done by a single mission, that is compiler. No, that is not the definition directly. Compilation includes nearly 4 missions effort. 4 missions execution is nothing but compilation. What are the 4 missions internally inside the compilation? First one is preprocessor. Next one is compiler. Next one is assembler. Then after this, loader link editor. Loader link editor. First one is what there? Preprocessor. Next one is a compiler, assembler. Then after this, loader link editor. Right, sir. One after another, all the things are going to be evaluated. Then only compilation is going to be completed. Right, sir. That's okay, fine. Again now, compiler, I want to elaborate. If the situation is coming, that's why I want to elaborate inside the compiler. Inside the compiler, how many phases are available? What exactly the structure is available? If you observe this, inside the compiler, nearly 6 number of phases are available. In only compiler, nearly 6 number of phases are available. What are the 6 number of phases inside the compiler? First one is lexical analysis. First one is what there? Lexical analysis. Next one is what there? Syntax analysis. Next one is what there? Semantic analysis. Then after this, intermediate code generation. Intermediate code generation. Then after this, code optimization. Last one is what there? Code generation. That's it. Now observe carefully. Overall, how many phases here we are having there? 6 phases are available. Lexical analysis phase, syntax analysis phase, syntax semantic analysis phase, intermediate code generation, code optimization, and finally code generation. Overall, these many phases are available inside the compilation compiler. Actually, I don't require this diagram, no, this diagram actually, but I require one conclusion. What is the conclusion here? At which location preprocessor is available? Now the location of the preprocessor here we understand. At which location that preprocessor is available? Exactly in this location that preprocessor is available. So we understood that the location of the preprocessor up to now. This total diagram is giving representation for us at which location that preprocessor is existed. That location information here we are getting clear. Okay, fine. This diagram also here I want to take now try to understand it clearly. Now, first of all, let me give one conclusion. What is the conclusion there? In general, preprocessor is the first phase in the compilation. Preprocessor is the first phase in the compilation. Okay, it's the first phase. Okay, up to that it's okay. But what it is able to do? What that first phase is able to do? I require that point here. What this first phase is able to do? Right. Further, the point is very clear. Now try to understand it clearly. Listen carefully. Some internal points here I'm telling you. Now try to observe this carefully. Right, sir. Points are very clear. In a preprocessor, that means before going to understand the preprocessor, what exactly is the responsibility in the sense, observe carefully. In C and C++, the complete predefined library. In every programming language, predefined library is available. In C and C++, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of header files. Yes, sir. Am I right or not? Please observe carefully the point here. What is the point I'm telling to you? In C and C++, not only in C and C++, in every programming language, predefined libraries existed. In C and C++, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of header files. Am I right or not? Okay, fine. The point is very clear. In C and C++, let me write this information here. In C and C++, the complete predefined library exists in the form of header files. Can you tell me what are the various examples for these header files? No. Examples I'm telling you now, observe carefully. Stdio.h. Next one is a conio.h. Right, sir. Then what next one here? After this, math.h. Of course, these are the examples. So many examples are available, but simple examples here I'm giving to you. Understand it clearly. So in C, C++, the complete predefined library exists in the form of what there? In the form of header files. What are the various examples for these header files here we are getting there? Yesterday.h, conio.h. Then after that, what next one here? No, math.h. It's okay, fine, good. But now I have a question now. What about my question here after this? My another question is like what there? Okay, predefined library is available in separately. Predefined libraries existed, but I want to use that library in my C program. Predefined library is available there. I want to use that in my C program. How I'm going to use that predefined library into my C program? Which statements I have to use? If you want to use predefined library into the C program, we have to include that header files to the C program or not? We have to include that header files to the C program. Observe carefully. If you want to use predefined library into the C program, then we have to include the header file. We have to include the header files into the C program. For including the header files into the C program, for this, we have to use hash include statements. Am I right or not? To use predefined library in C program, we have to include header files to the C program. To include header files to the C program, we have to use what statements? No, hash include statements. Now example here I'm telling to you, observe carefully. Hash include yesterday io.h. Next one is a hash include conio.h. Similarly, hash include math.h. Clear? All of you are getting clarity now? Right, sir. Now here we have to put more concentration. Everybody, I'm going to give some internal content here. Now try to observe carefully. Up to now, what I discussed, actually, what is our point here? Now tell me. Our actual point is what there? Preprocessor is required in C and C++. Preprocessor does not required in Java. That's the actual point. Okay. Now here, why preprocessor is required in C, C++ and why preprocessor is not required in Java? That point we have to answer. Before that, I given some information to you. What is preprocessor? What is the location of the preprocessor in programming languages? As part of understanding the location of the preprocessor, I given some diagram. There we understood that in a compilation, that very first phase is what their pre-processing phase, where a preprocessor is existed. Then what is its job? Part of discussing what is the role of the preprocessor, I started our conversation with the predefined library. In C and C++, the complete predefined library is existed in the form of header files. Examples are given yesterday.h, conio.h, math.h, like this. If we want to use this predefined library in our C program, we have to include the respective header files to the C program. To include the respective header files to the C program, we have to use hash include statements. What about this? Hash include yesterday.h, hash include conio.h, and hash include math.h. These things here we have used it. Up to now, all of you are getting clarity. Next 5 minutes of time, important content I'm discussing internally. Try to put more concentration. What is the point I'm telling to you? Observe carefully. I prepare my C program. In my C program, I have written these hash include statements. I have written a C program. There I have written hash include statements I provided. As is 3 hash include statements. And I compiled my program. When I compile my program, preprocessor, who is that now? Preprocessor will recognize all my hash include statements. Preprocessor will take the names of the specified header files like yesterday io.h, conio.h, math.h, like this. All the header files names my preprocessor will take. After that, preprocessor will go to the C software. In C software, preprocessor will search for the header files. All these are predefined header files only. Preprocessor will go to the C software. Inside the C software, preprocessor will check whether these header files are exist or not existed. If either of these header file is not available in the C library, in the C software, if either of these library or if any of these header files are not available inside the C software, preprocessor will raise an error. Preprocessor is able to raise an error. Some header file not existed or something else. It is able to provide some error. In the case, if the header file is available in the C software, the required header file is available inside the C software, then immediately preprocessor will take the header file. It will take the data from this header file. Header file contains some executable code actually. It will take that executable code from the header file. Preprocessor will load that header files content to the memory. Preprocessor will load the data files content to the memory. This process, this entire process is called as loading library, loading predefined library. Now tell me, sir, at what time preprocessor is loading this library? At a compilation time or at a runtime? At compilation time or at runtime? At compilation time only. Now we are at compilation time. Preprocessor scope is up to compilation only. Preprocessor is available inside the compilation only, not at runtime. At compilation time only, preprocessor is loading predefined library to the memory. So because of that reason, this type of loading at compilation time is called as static loading. Static loading. Static memory allocation is different. Static loading is different. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? So point is very much clear. Now once again I'm trying to explain to you, but try to understand it clearly. So here the point is what I created my C program, C file, .c file. Inside my C program I have included hash include statements. Hash include yesterday.h and hash include conio.h and hash include math.h. I have written all the hash include statements. When I compile my C program, inside the C program, when we compile it, preprocessor will take the responsibility of recognizing hash include statements, identifying header files, loading the header files content to the memory. So what it will do? First, preprocessor will recognize hash include statements. Preprocessor will take the specified header files names. Preprocessor will go inside the C software, where preprocessor will check whether these header files are existed or not existed. If these header files are not existed, preprocessor will raise an error. If these header files are existed already, preprocessor will not raise any error. Then immediately it will pick the header file. It will load the header file content to the memory. Loading predefined library at a compilation time to the memory is called as static memory allocation. Yes, sir. All of you are getting it or not? So this is what exactly the job of the preprocessor in our C programs. This is the responsibility of the preprocessor in our C and C++ applications. Yes, sir. All of you are getting clarity now? Right, so now just 2 minutes of time. Let me complete this document here. After that, I want to go for the conclusion there. Right, sir. Now here. Few points I'm going to provide you, try to understand it clearly. When we compile the C and C++ programs, when we compile C and C++ applications, which includes hash include statements, which includes hash include statements, then the preprocessor will perform the following actions. What actions our preprocessor is able to perform there? Point number one. Observe carefully, all of you know. What is this point number one? No. Preprocessor will recognize all hash include statements and all header files names. Point number one. Preprocessor will recognize all hash include statements and all header files names. Next one. Preprocessor will check whether the header file, preprocessor will check whether the header files are exist or not in the C software, C and C++ softwares. Which application we prepared there? Inside this, it will check whether the preprocessor, whether the, alright sir, preprocessor will check whether the header files are exist or not in the C and C++ softwares. Alright sir. If the specified header files are not existed in the C and C++ softwares, in the C and C++ softwares, then the compiler, then the preprocessor will raise an error. What error it is able to raise? Nothing. No need to think about it. It will raise some error. That error definitely represents what there, that header files are not available there. Like this, it able to provide some information. Next one is after that. If the specified, header files are exist in the C and C++ softwares, then what we are able to get? No, then the preprocessor, what it will do, sir? Now tell me. Will load, the preprocessor will load the respective header file content to the memory. Preprocessor will load the respective header file content to the memory. Alright, sir. Note kind of point here I'm telling you. Observe carefully the note type of point here. No, loading predefined library at a compilation time is called static loading. Remember this. In the future, I'm going to use it. Loading predefined library at a compilation time is called as what there? Static loading. That is completed. Now conclusion here I'm telling to you. What about this conclusion there? Now tell me. What is the requirement of the preprocessor in C and C++ applications? If we come for the conclusion, no? The main requirement of the preprocessor is to recognize all the hash include statements and to load. The main requirement of the preprocessor is to recognize all the hash include statements and to load, or in order to load header files content to the memory. Header files content to the memory. That's it. This is the main intention of like what their preprocessor. Now that we have seen in the case of what programming here, no, C and C++. This is a diagram here. This preprocessor is able to do this particular content. The diagram already are given clearly. All of you are following the points now? Tell me, I'm asking one straightforward question to you. What is the need of the preprocessor in C and C++? Come on, what is the requirement of the preprocessor in C and C++? To recognize all the hash include statements in order to load header files content to the memory. That's it. That is a clear-cut analysis here we have to understand. Got it or not? Okay, fine. Leave this one. After this, after completion of this particular point, no, why preprocessor is not required in Java? Basically, we are the Java developer. Why it is not available in Java? That point we have to understand. Why preprocessor is required? C, C++ somewhat away from us, but still we understood that. But more than this, we have to understand why it is not available in Java. Sir, if you're getting it or not, what I'm telling you. Let's put more concentration here. Understand this point clearly. Now coming to the point, in Java, the complete, listen carefully, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of, observe carefully, in C and C++, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of header files. Am I right or not? But in case of Java, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of classes, and interfaces in packages. Strictly speaking, directly packages. In C and in Java, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of classes and interfaces in what their packages. Don't ask me what is the meaning of package. No, I'll discuss with you clearly. Package is the collection of classes and interfaces. Not more than that. Okay, fine. This is the meaning of this predefined library. How it is available there. That's okay, fine. Next one is when we compile a Java program. When we compile a Java program which includes, okay, before this, one more point I want to be specific to you. Now understand the examples now. Examples for these packages I'm telling there: java.io, java.util, java.sql, and so on. So many packages here we are able to have inside the Java. Some of the package names here I've given there, but no more number of packages are available. Next one is in C and C++. To include predefined library in C and C++ programs, there we have used hash include statement. In C and C++, we have used what there? Hash include statement. But in Java applications, to use predefined library, in Java applications to use predefined library, we have to import, not include. We have to import packages to the present Java file. Packages to the present Java file. Is that all of you are getting it or not? What is the point here I'm telling there? In Java applications, to use a predefined library, we have to import packages to the present Java file. But how we are going to import these packages to the present Java file? We have to use import statement. We have to use what statement here? No, import statement. Now see this, observe carefully. We are going to write it no import java.io.star. Here star is representing all classes and interfaces from the package. In the package, number of classes and interfaces are available. I want to get all class and interfaces from the package. Import java.io.star. Next one is import java.util.star. Next one is what there? Import java.sql.star. In all the cases, I'm using what there? Star. Star is representing all classes and interfaces from the package, specified package. Okay, fine. Finally, here what we are getting there? Import statements here we provided. All of you observe carefully. When we compile a program which contains import statements, then the compiler will perform the following actions. Here only compiler, we are not having any preprocessor here. Only compiler will perform some actions. Observe carefully. If you want to turn this diagram as a Java diagram, no, what we have to do there, what changes here we required, in place of .c, we have to provide what file here, no, .java file here we have to prepare. If you want to turn this diagram to Java, it is already available in C. If you want to turn it into the Java, no, .java file. Now here we are getting what files here, no, .exe we are getting, but in place of .exe, in the case of Java, we are able to get only .class files. No confusion in the case of Java. Before compilation, .java file. After compilation, .class file. But in C and C++, different files we are able to get. .c file, .obj file, .exe file, .ai file. So many files are going to be used there in the case of C, C++. But in Java, straightforward information. Before compilation, .java. After compilation, .class files. .class files here we are getting. Moreover, what is not available in the case of Java? Preprocessor is not available in the case of Java. Now let me take this diagram. Here I want to provide this diagram here, but understand it clearly. When we compile a program, when we compile a Java program which contains import statements, then the compiler will perform the following actions. What actions the compiler is able to perform there? All of you understand it clearly. Compiler will recognize all the import statements and the compiler will take all the specified packages names. Point number 1, compiler will take the package names what we provided here along with our import statement. Understand it clearly? Okay, all right, sir. Next one is compiler will check whether the specified packages are exist or not in the Java software. Compiler will check whether the specified packages exist or not in the Java software. Here the point, similar point. If the specified packages does not exist in Java software, then the compiler will raise an error. Definitely compiler is able to raise an error if the specified, say for example here what we specified there, java.io, java.util, java.sql. Compiler will read their names. Compiler will check them inside the Java software. If they are not available, raise an error. If they are not available, compiler will raise an error. But the point is what there, if the specified packages does not exist in Java software, then compiler will raise an error. Okay, now for example, if the specified packages are existed in a Java software, then the compiler will not raise any error. Compiler will not raise any error. Compiler will not raise any error. Understand my point here if they are available. And at the same time, in the case of C, preprocessor has loaded them to the memory, static loading. But now to understand the point here. At the same time, compiler will not load any package content to the memory. Compiler will not load any package content to the memory. Understand my point or not? So in the case of static loading, in the case of C, when a preprocessor identifies header files, no, immediately it will load them, static loading. But in Java, compiler is for only checking whether that packages are available or not. If they're available, no error. If they're not available, raise an error. That's it. But compiler is not responsible for loading any predefined library to the memory. All right, now observe carefully. When we execute the Java application, JVM is responsible for loading the package content. Package content. When we execute Java application, JVM is responsible for loading the package content. So now understand a small note. What is that note here? Loading predefined library at what time, sir? Now tell me. Predefined library here. Loading predefined library at what time? JVM will load it at what time? JVM will come into the picture at runtime or not? So loading predefined library at runtime is called dynamic loading. Is called as what there? Dynamic loading. C and C++ are following which type of loading? Static loading. But Java is following which type of loading? Dynamic loading. Now this is the advantage of like what there? Java. Dynamic loading is more powerful than static loading. Why? Because for example, 100 header files are available. At compilation time, all header files are loaded. But out of 100 number of header files, no, 2 to 3 header files only I can use at runtime. Remaining 98 number of header files are unnecessarily loaded. This is a problem in the case of static loading. But if it is a dynamic loading, on demand classes are going to be loaded. If JVM encounter a particular class, then only class will be loaded. Otherwise, it will not load that any class. Even though written import statements, no, that import statements are not loading any class to the memory. Just it will make available that class name to the Java program. There, JVM is able to load the required class bytes code to the memory later on. Right, sir. Now, loading a predefined library at runtime is called as dynamic loading. Now coming to the conclusion, what about this conclusion there? Why preprocessor is not required in the case of Java? That's a question here. Now understand it clearly. Java does not require preprocessor. Java does not require preprocessor. Why? Because in Java applications, no hash include statements. No hash include statements and no header files. In Java applications, no hash include statements and no header files are existed. So it is not required to manage preprocessor. It is not required to manage what their preprocessor. Alternatively, Java has the components like what there. Alternatively, in case of this C and C++, some content is available, but in Java does not require preprocessor. Why? Because in Java applications, no hash include statements and no header files are existed. So it is not required to manage preprocessor in Java. Alternatively, Java has the components like what there, like packages, comma, then what next one can know, import statements and compiler and JVM to evaluate the packages, or maybe to read the content from the packages. Compiler and JVM both are existed here, they are sufficient for us. Right, so now this is exactly the meaning of like what there, why preprocessor is not required in the case of Java. Is that, are you getting that much? Now here Java based diagram also here we provided, we can understand clearly. Finally, preprocessor is required in which programming language? C and C++. Preprocessor does not required in which programming language? Java. That's okay, fine. I want to give one small assignment to all of you guys. As we understood this entire concept, no, I want to give one small assignment that we have to complete. What is that assignment? No. What are the differences between hash include statement, import statement? What are the differences between hash include statement and import statement? These two things here we have to understand clearly. Will you prepare answer for this? As you understand the total content, will you prepare answer for it? So then I'm not getting confidence by seeing your faces. Okay, now let us check the same answers, and tomorrow I want to check your answers there, then after that I will go for my content. Definitely, I'll give answer for it. So tomorrow is absent, right? No? Right, sir. It's okay. If you are unable to give answer, then definitely I will explain that. But already answers are awaited by you. In the same explanation, in today's class, whatever the explanation are given, within that only we are able to get all these points here. Got it or not? Okay, then tomorrow we'll see the remaining content, and tomorrow we are able to understand all the points. Please recognize my request now. Everybody read the content before come for tomorrow's class. Whatever the points here I'm giving there, then everybody has to recognize, everybody has to read the content before come for tomorrow's class. If any of you are new today or yesterday, if you want to get notes, this classroom notes, use this link in the browser. There we are able to get this classroom notes. That's it. Then use this link. There everyday classroom notes here we are able to get. Everyday classroom notes we are able to get. Then this already this document I given share to everybody. There I'm going to type the content that we are able to see completely now. So try to use this link to open this document. Okay. Shall we meet on tomorrow? That's it. Thank you. Thanks a lot. We'll meet on tomorrow. And one more point I'm telling there. Next Monday onwards, max, I'm going to take your classes at what time? 10 o'clock, 10 a.m., 10 to 11 that I will take your class. Please remember this point in your mind. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Huh? Demos are already over. The regular content today onwards I started. Yeah, thank you. Nitish, no surprise. Tomorrow will give surprise. Yeah, yeah. Girnath Patil. Hi. Yeah, next actual timing of this class is what, that 10 to 11:30 only, but demo class I'm running at 11:30. 11:31 only, few classes there. That means few classes in the sense introduction classes only. And next Monday onwards, 10 to 11:30, we are going to take some other classes. Okay. In a core Java continuation only, 10 to 11:30 I'm going to take. That will be the actual timing for us. Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you. That's Thank you. Thanks to all of you guys. I'll meet you tomorrow.